Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts, Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, robots don't have rhythm. So I have a problem that I need both of your input on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's mildly terrifying.
That's fine.
Way to start.
It's fine. No, it's all good. I don't know if we have talked about this on the phone on the podcast before. When I answer the phone, people think I'm a robot.
Clearly because you're not answering your phone. Ahoy!
This is my thought.
I think that might be a problem.
Disagrees with me though, which I think he's wrong. But this is I will pretend like you are calling my business. I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to say something, and I want you to tell me what it reads, how it reads. Okay, ready? I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to say, "Hello, this is Collin. How can I help you?"
Isn't that what people say?
Isn't that what people say? This is what happens. I seriously, I just happened tonight with somebody who called and I said, "Hi, this is Collin. How can I help you?" And they responded with, there's a long pause, like a pause. And I have learned at this point, I don't say anything because then we just start talking over ourselves. So all of a sudden someone went, I'm sorry. I thought you were a robot. Are you real? And I went, yes. Hi. And then they'll say, are you really? Are you real? Hello? So I don't know if I just need to be like, sup, or be like, yo, or maybe I do need to start saying, ahoy.
So Collin does need some inflection in his voice. Like, hello, this is Collin. Okay. It's all about the rhythm. Because, no.
Well, that's fair. That's a good point.
This is a serious thing that we need to discuss because I have some young emotional trauma from you two. When I was younger.
From what?
Listen,
what do you mean specifically?
Listen,
I think you're about to get us specifically.
When I was younger, both of you told me to answer the phone thusly. Thank you for calling Funkhouse Residence. How may I help you?
Well,
we did.
When your friends would call and they would hand you the phone, they would ask, "Would you guys get a secretary?" And you'd go, "Oh, that's your younger brother." So I know a thing or two about answering the phone. But yeah, you need to throw some inflection in there, Collin. You need to be like, "Hello, this is Collin. Can I help you?" It's all about the rhythm. It's all about the rhythm, the timing. Robots don't have rhythm. Robots don't have rhythm.
True.
Fact check that. Robots don't have rhythm.
Just like cats don't dance, cats can't dance. All about rhythm. If you have rhythm, they got rhyme. It's in the song.
But could you ask for anything more?
Okay. Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, that took a turn. Okay, so I need to get some rhythm, I guess.
Yeah, some inflections.
How can I help you? But then I'm just gonna be like, "Hello, this is Collin. How can I help you?" Like I'm just.
I don't know the southern accent.
There you go. They'll definitely know. Robots are also not from the South. Confirmed. So that would.
Now, I will say when other coaches call me, like my southern inflection comes out. I'm like, "Hello, Coach Funkhouse, can I help you?" Like, "Oh, Coach, I don't know."
Now that is a southern inflection that is learned because that is not.
Yeah, that is not what I sounded like growing up. Like,
your mother was from Iowa, so like I don't even know like what.
You're right. I need to answer the phone. Y'all got corn?
Look, that's true.
Wow, just really going at people.
Yeah, but no. So it just add a little.
Okay.
A little tempo. Because robots, especially when you answer a robocall, there's that pause, and they're like, "Hi, is Aaron there?" You're like, "Oh, no."
Just go.
That's a robot. I know that for a fact.
Anyway, okay, I will work on inflection. because I didn't know if I needed to get a new like catchphrase for answering the phone, or if it was inflection.
Maybe you should just also always have more dogs barking in the background.
I guess.
I was gonna say Collin just barked. Like,
well, I mean, that's true.
I pick up the phone.
Yeah, you say, "Woof, this is Collin. How's it going?"
Woof, this is oh my God. No. Woof, this
or
is
greetings, you
Greetings, fellow non-robot.
Yeah, greetings, fellow human. I mean, human.
Yes, let me do it with my human feelings.
Yeah. Greetings, pet enthusiast. How may I direct your call this evening? That one's the best.
I think that's the winner. Greetings, pet enthusiast. How may I direct your call?
They're just gonna be like, "What?"
They'd be like, "I'm going to hang up now."
What'd you say to me? Be like, "You like pets, right?"
Yeah.
Clearly, you're a pet owner because you're calling a pet sitter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
Deduction.
I thought I was talking to someone who loved their pet.
Oh, ouch. They'll never call you again. If you would like to not have any business ever, I guess you could say that.
Oh, okay. This is all really good, actually. Oh, it's all coming together. Okay, I've got notes. I'm gonna have to hire a voice coach. Oh, and then I need to implement this. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The, Brother Consulting Firm. See, we do in-house work, and then we also provide these same services to you, listener, who needs help answering.
Yeah, we can also prescribe you to watch that one scene from Singing in the Rain where that lady's like doing the vocal coach thing.
I can't stand him. Oh my God.
And I can't stand him.
I can't stand him. Oh, it's so good.
I love it.
Yes. Speaking of what I'm going to find, yes. A 20-second YouTube clip going in the show notes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it makes me laugh all the time.
Is it the song Make 'Em Laugh? Does that also make you laugh? Boom.
Make 'em laugh. Man, I seriously have not seen that movie in a very long time.
My copy is like messed up. I don't know what happened. Like, I was like watching it. I don't know what's happened to. Maybe it's my DVD player. I don't know, but like I have all these DVDs from a long time ago, and like some of them just like are like, nah, I'm not gonna work anymore.
Oh,
like
no.
what? Why would you do that?
That's sad.
Yes. And one of them is Singing in the Rain, greatest movie musical ever.
Yeah.
So it's very upsetting. Ugh.
So, guys, enjoying the springtime weather that we're getting, investing with anybody else's nasal cavities.
Yeah, definitely. It was listeners, exactly 1 week ago, there was an inch of ice on my driveway, and it was about -1 degrees outside. Today, it was 70 degrees.
I didn't know how to process
my life is pain. I don't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Monday was real hard to go back to work. I was like, well, where am I? What's happening? I don't know where I'm at. Didn't help that I had lots of things I meant to get done over those 5 days that I didn't have to work. But
Sure.
like, I got real distracted with playing video games. So like, I didn't really do like anything.
Oh no. You know, something good intentions. I don't know.
It's fine. Yeah.
I don't know.
I was gonna do lots of stuff and blah, and I was like, or
catch this.
yeah, I could not do that. It'd be great.
So, Aaron, are you all thought out on the great tundas of Oklahoma?
Yeah, it was
Is
so
your room
bad.
finally
Like
warm, I guess.
oh yeah, well I've been back in my classroom for a good while. No, it was so bad. Our parking lot is here where we live. It's like weirdly angled in a lot of like awkward places. And so I remember I was in the car and I was like, oh, we'll just drive around and see how the roads are. I put it into like neutral, like I put it into neutral and had my foot on the brake. and I immediately started sliding. I was like, oh, okay, putting that back in park, and I still kept sliding. I was like, oh well. So I had to like literally bank my car on the little like lip of the parking lot, just kind of like hold me in place. And so yeah, I moved it barely, and it's like, so nope, not leaving. So, yeah, we didn't leave for like 3-4 days.
Yeah, we didn't either for the same reason, because our driveway is like one of the steepest ones in the neighborhood, and no, we could get out, but not back in. There's no way we could have got there. So we're just like, nah, we'll stay here. We went up to check on Susan's mom. We just walked. It's fine. Where'd you go?
Oh my gosh! Wow, man, you guys really did get slammed with ice. Then I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah, we had like it was like it wasn't. Mine wasn't ice. It was like sleet, right? And like so, it would never turn to freezing rain really, because I kept going out and checking like just like the trash can and like the stuff in the yard to like see if it was freezing to that. It wasn't freezing to that. It was like sleety enough that it was bouncing off everything and just landing on the ground in giant piles of sleet, and then it froze solid from there.
No.
Yeah. And then it like mildly, like the road, they like salted the road. So like the first day, kind of like the middle of it was like really kind of slushy and weird. And then it just froze like hard because it was so cold that night. Like, like you literally could have ice skated on the road. Like that's how smooth the sleet was. It was just like
ours. We didn't get much sleet, but we did have the thing where the air temperature dropped so fast that every elevated surface immediately had ice on it.
Yeah, see, we didn't have that, which is good because that's when the power goes out. So like,
yeah, and I could actually watch, not literally watch, but I was pretty real time watching ice form like on our back deck as things just the temperature dropped out. That was kind of cool. And then it was really weird because then the next morning, the roads were mega slick, even though we didn't have hardly any precipitation. It was just because it was immediately freezing on the roads because temperatures were so cold. But then by like that afternoon, after the crews made like a pass on it, it was like, oh, okay, everything's fine. We were able to, everything was open and we were going fine.
Well, that's good because it was pretty gnarly down here, but it sounds like Aaron and me were similar situation. Where it's like, nope, not going out there. Too slick. I'm out. So you actually back to being able to practice outside, Aaron? You can have all the bases out on the field after the mud dried.
So we actually had our first baseball game yesterday.
Oh.
We were supposed to have a softball game, a junior high softball game tomorrow, but it was canceled because some of our numbers keep dropping for junior high. But no, so our first baseball game was yesterday. It was at home. It was super weird, but it was also for those of you who are listening who coach at a very, very small school, you'll understand small school problems where we just didn't have enough people to get us to where we needed to. We didn't have enough arms. But another big thing about our field is that we don't have light. And so about 6:00, both of the umpires like walked over us and they're like, hey, we're going to call the game because we can barely see. And so in Oklahoma, if you call a game due to like weather or something, if there's been 5 innings played, which is technically a full game, the game reverts back to the original score of the 5th inning, which the score was 8-4. Henceforth, we are winning. So we're like, we'll take the win. Bye. So,
nice.
So we won by technicality, but we have a game tomorrow, which is away. And so I will be going with them to that right after school. But I've been helping some of the other coaches get set up because they've never coached before, and so I've been doing literally 1,000 things. But we like our field, the grass. I mean, it's there. It's not pretty, but we've had a lot of work on the infield. The dirt, it's not really, it's really soft, but it doesn't have any clay in it, so it's kind of like powdery. So it makes it really difficult for like balls unless if they're not hit 1,000 miles per hour. They're like the moment they touch the dirt, they're like not moving. So that kind of works in our favor. But we swung the bat really good. We fielded the ball really good. It's just our pitching killed us. And so it was like 8-2, and then it was 8-4, and then it was 8-8. And I was like, whoa, okay, we need to get through this. And they're like, oh, time. I was like, oh, thank you. So yeah, fields look decent. The softball field, there is one corner over by the opposing dugout that is kind of resembling a small swamp, because ice was left there for like 2 weeks because it was like perfectly in the shade.
Oh yeah,
it never melted, and so finally with the temperature, it finally did melt. But everything's just been stagnant in that little corner, and so we need to drag it like hard if I get equipment over there. So I'm just gonna literally just till and plow a whole field if I have to. But they also have been making an indoor hitting facility that is supposed to have concession stands and bathrooms, because there's no bathrooms over where our fields are. The problem is that they used up all of the money to build the shell, so now we just have a barn over with no equipment, no electricity, no bathrooms, no nothing. So we can't use it. But
that was
again
planned well.
Small town problems. A lot of people got all huffy because like, oh, what about the ag program? Ag doesn't bring money into the school, so, and no, they can't store their cattle and goats there because no, it's going to be used for baseball. And so yeah, they built it and they were all excited, and then no one's been working on it for the past few weeks. And I was like, hey, what's the deal? And they're like, oh, we ran out of money. Like,
sweet.
So
interesting.
The season just started and it's already a roller coaster ride. So.
Yeah, well, I think when you try and play baseball in like Nocturnal swamp barn thing, that might get pretty interesting as you move forward.
Yeah, so I am fine if we play the rest of the season like away, because having a home game is absolutely terrible. And this is even if you do have life, because you have to get the field ready. You have to get all of the balls, make sure that they're stamped, and make sure that they're secure, make sure both dugouts are clean, make sure there's enough water and stuff for the officials, make sure that all the equipment set up, make sure everyone has their gear, make sure you have your lineup set up, make sure your technology is working so you can plot stuff, make sure you have kids warmed up, make sure, it's just a lot. And I was like, can we just play every game away? Because this is terrible. With an away game, you just show up, stretch, do in and out, and then you're ready to play. Like, you don't have to do any of the setup. You don't have to drag the field. Perfect.
I mean, maybe okay. You don't have to drag the field. It'll make it more exciting that way. No, it'll make it much more adventurous. Right?
Ooh.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Turns an ankle, because the moment they step on like a crater, he's either going to fall into the giant crevasse that has been opened up, the cataclysm that has been.
You just have to plan your route accordingly.
Roaded.
Right.
So it's just a lot of tedious things, and especially, and here's the big kicker: the past several years, this school has never had like legitimate baseball coaches, and so although we have a lot of seniors, we're practically on like a freshman skill base, because they've never been shown anything. They've never been shown how to take care of the field. They've never been shown how to stretch properly. They've never been taught like good fundamental baseball. And so like we inherited this team, and it's just like, what do you know? And they're like, what? I was like, oh. So having to literally start with seniors at basic zero, and how to teach them how to actually like move dirt is like rocket surgery. Like it's difficult. It doesn't make sense, but it's supposed to get done. But they have no idea how to do it. It's frustrating, because you're like, Coach, what do I do with this? You need the rake? Yeah. What?
You rake it.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? So yeah, It's frustrating, but I love the sport. I love the kids. I am fine. Ask me about midway through season how I'm feeling. But at the moment, I'm fine.
Okay. Check in.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's fun. So that's been Aaron's week in a nutshell.
How is wedding planning going on?
Oh, we're in a good lull stage right now. So we got a good chunk of it planned. We got a lot of like the big finance taken care of. Now we're coming up in a few months. She has wedding dress fitting. There we go. And then I got to come up with my groomsmen boxes apparently, and then we have to take engagement photos and then just some other stuff. But a lot of it is planned. Like we have, we're getting the catering stuff situated. Like we have people to contact now. It's just like picking stuff. We already looked at wedding cake things. We still have the sample wedding cakes, but we looked at like flavors stuff.
My favorite part. Cake.
Planning has been very good, as is per usual. I have been told what to plan, and so therefore I'm like, oh, okay, yes, that sounds good. So my part has been very good.
That's all right. Now I had an idea about what you should do for your wedding. I think, Collin, back me up here.
Okay.
I think that your wedding theme should be the first big date that you went on, which is the creepy carnival thing.
Oh, paranormal search. Yeah. I even mentioned that to her.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what it should be. I think you should recreate it at your wedding. Paranormal circus wedding.
Yeah. I think it'd be pretty easy to do.
Just everybody can have top hats and monocles.
Yeah.
And
well, even get some of those same performers. They're used to traveling and setting up real quick. Yes. So, you can just bring them
Everyone's going to learn Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah. Just let me stretch a couple minutes. Come on.
I mean, theme-wise, if we can get a big tent, that's probably be, fair enough. But no,
there you go. I mean, you could decorate the inside of your building like the inside of a tent, right? That way, you don't have to worry about the temperature. Right, you could do you could put like posters up, like sideshow posters up.
Mm-hmm.
You could have like stripy banners, to invoke the circus theme. Right, you could just throw peanut shells on the floor.
Yes. Did you guys ever watch any of those videos that I sent about it?
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
yes, because I was going, what? Really? Aaron went to this? Like, I was so confused.
Man. It was literally down the road. So I was like, of course I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like, I was just so like taken aback. Like, I was not expecting this. Like, yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, I think this would be an exciting theme, right? Top hats around, right? Little like vests and caravats or whatever. Like, it'd be exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how you would want to enter into the area with this theme. What kind of like horrid beast could be right?
There'd have to be lots of like dry ice smoke. That's definitely number one,
obviously. And it's dimly lit, which is fine because you're used to playing baseball in the dark. So why not get married?
And then like blam, big spotlight. Come out like the ringmaster gear. That'd be sick, right?
Oh yeah. The leader of the ceremonies is the ringmaster.
You could have the preacher dress up like that. That'd be great.
The big pantaloons and the red waistcoat.
Well, you're just thinking of Dumbo again. Okay,
what?
Hold on.
Well,
you're thinking about Dumbo.
Okay, but but creepy.
Yeah, it was Dumbo, but horror.
Dumbo, but horror. Okay.
Well, have you? I mean,
so Dumbo. Like
Dumbo. Lest we remind ourselves the first 5 minutes of that film.
They're just putting up the tent in the rain. Okay. And to a slave song. It's fine. It's totally not. Okay. It's a little bit weird. Yeah.
Man. So, I mean, not to take away from this wedding planning here, but side tangent to that, man, revisiting a lot of wonderful childhood memory like movies and films and being like, oh, I think this needs to wait just a little bit longer. For instance, we tried to watch the Aladdin. That opening is fierce. Anyone remember how that opens?
Yeah, with the big giant sand tiger of doom eating that guy, right?
Yes, eating a man.
Yeah, because he wasn't worthy.
Yeah, so he deserved it, obviously.
Obviously. At which point Noah turned to me and went, "What else can we watch?"
Whoa!
And I went. Good point. We're gonna watch
No, it was just like, Dad, there's no trucks in this movie. Turn this off. I can't get over. Get out of here.
I know. I don't.
Dad, where's the tractor?
No,
throw it out.
I didn't want to. I didn't want. My problem is, here's my problem. I don't want to jump straight to the later Disney movies because then they'll never be able to go back and appreciate like the art and style of those early ones until they're much older.
Wow, so you're gonna take your children chronologically through the Disney catalog? Like, is that what you're like? So the only movie you've watched so far is Snow White? Like,
I mean, we have watched Steamboat Willie, so
oh my gosh. What?
Anyway, I mean, but seriously, like all the later ones also are trash stories and whatever. Anyway, but like I want
all of them.
No, not all.
Every single one. Come on now, that's a little bit harsh.
But like, I don't want to throw out like a Pixar movie, especially like a Toy Story. Like, okay, imagine I throw them the last Toy Story one, and then I try and convince them to suffer through watching the first Toy Story. Nobody's going to want to watch that.
Yeah, the first Toy Story is great.
Except that it is great, but if it visually looks worse, right? Like you're like, nobody. So anyway, I'm trying my best not to spoil them on these.
He's just gonna make him watch all those terrible like '60s ones. There's like just the same animation over and over again.
This is what Collin needs to do. All right, so you need to watch Kimba the White Lion. Get the expectations lowered, and then throw the Lion King at him. Be like, whoa, look at how
which is totally not a ripoff of Kimba the White Lion at all. No, definitely not.
Cool.
Oh yeah, well sorry.
I mean, technically it did come first, so Collin wouldn't be wrong.
See,
that's true. His chronology is. That's like making your child suffer through Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind before she watched Kiki's Delivery Service, right? Like. Yeah. That's like you're like, okay, this is
but that's like, not really okay, but that would be more so for like because they're animated basically the same, right? Like you can get
Nausicaa is not good. Like, that movie is too long and it's like punching you in the face with environmentalism, which is fine, but like it's so obtuse. Like, guys, come on.
Animation
and it's
like,
all like
visually,
gray.
Visually.
But you also don't want to like throw them straight into like Princess Mononoke.
I mean, that one does need some. I don't know. We went straight to Princess Mononoke, and we're totally fine. Everything's fine.
We're normal.
But
yeah,
okay. So that's more based off of like themes and maturity. I'm basically saying like most of the Disney movies that I'm talking about are all based at the same age range. But I don't want to show the nice, like newly animated, super
only Aristocats, and all the problems that comes with. Like this,
I mean, they do. They have some space, so they do like Aristocats. But anyway, that's a later. But like some of those early, just hand animated films, watch those so that we can appreciate those, and then we can move on to. But anyway, these are my neurotic comings and goings. So
you have to watch. Just jank. Colin's just going to only show his kids janky 70s animation for the next 5 years.
Okay, no. So I hold on.
Like the 70s Lord of the Rings. So he's gonna watch.
Hey, the pencil over one or like the cartoon?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the pencil over. Yeah, with the crazy weird like stenciling and all. Man, that was a trip, man.
No, you know what I did do?
Have you seen Wizards? Yo, what the heck?
No, we found a copy of some of the 1960s, 1970s Dr. Seuss movies. Have you seen?
Oh my!
These are bad. And I was like, oh, cool. Here's 1971's The Cat in the Hat. It's animated.
I mean, that's when The Grinch came out, though. in that time frame.
Grinch is good. The Grinch is good. This was 30 minutes of sheer it was insufferable. The amount.
Who animated it? Do you know?
I actually have no idea.
I don't know if I've seen this.
No,
I must Google.
I would not worry about it.
Cat in the Hat animated.
1971. 1971.
1971. Oh, yeah. Cat in the Hat cartoon 71.
Yes. It's 30 minutes long, which was I was like perfect. We love Dr. Seuss. We read this story all the time. And they don't even is a TV special, which is what all these were, right?
Yeah.
They don't even stick to some of the themes, and there's a weird interim because they're you could just tell they were like, stretch the story, stretch it. There's a song called Calculatus Eliminatus, which will be stuck in my brain forever. But I think they sang for about 7 minutes straight.
And yeah, this does say this apparently is 24 minutes long.
Yeah.
I'm going to start playing this.
Yes.
I don't want this really in my YouTube recommendations, but
I would
go
not.
for it anyway.
No, back out. Yeah, run. It's all based on a weird premise where the cat accuses the fish of stealing basically his car, but it's like his wardrobe or whatever, his whatever. He accuses the fish of stealing it and then convinces the kids that he needs help finding it, so they go and try and find it. And then the fish is gaslighted just enough to believe that it is missing and tries to help them find it as well. It's all very odd. And
can we talk about how, like, just sort of in general, that the Cat in the Hat is kind of a jerk, and like that's just kind of his MO, and it kind of makes sense to go with the themes of all of that stuff, where it's like, wait, what am I watching?
Mm-hmm. No, it's a very weird one, especially because in the book it's like, and her mother came in and she said to us too, "Did you have any fun? Tell me, what did you do?" And Sally and I did not know what to say. Should we tell her the things that went on there that day? I've read the story a little bit, right? What do we do? And then it says, well, what would you do if your mother asked you? It like kind of pits it of like, would you keep a secret from your parents if a cat came and played in your house? It's
exactly. This is what I'm talking about. The Cat in the Hat's kind of an anarchist, right? Like it's good.
It's not. I'm not okay with what's going on right now. But okay. And the weird part is that Dr. Seuss himself was involved in these. Like in the production of these, because these came out in the 70s. He didn't pass away until 91, so he oversaw and was like, "This is good." And you're like, "Okay, fine." This is not canon. Obviously, we're going to move on to something else.
You know, this is why the Dr. Seuss estate will not let people make stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, it's mostly Mike Myers' fault, but they also
that movie makes me so angry. Like it just
not as angry as it made the Seuss estate. I tell you that much, because they basically said no more live animated movies ever.
I know,
none, zero.
That one was so bad,
illegal.
Yeah. I mean, the Grinch really wasn't much better. But
no, not really. But like, at least it sort of made sense.
It did.
Again, the Cat in the Hat story. Like, the Cat in the Hat is not a story. It's like, yo, kids, I'm gonna be just like chaos in your lives and like destroy everything, and then like make you lie to your parents about it. Like, what is happening?
No,
why is the cat just the id, right? Just like
it is. Yeah, no, it really is of all things, and. Yeah, it makes me very uncomfortable to watch with that movie. And just visually, he's like so upsetting in the costume.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's
just I'm looking at a picture
because he was trying to be Jim Carrey and he's not. And so like
very much not.
You could definitely tell that he was like trying to go for that same vibe. And like Jim Carrey pulls off absolutely insane person.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like
easy. Yeah.
You saw The Mask. You know what I mean? Like, it was
deeply impacted me in ways I'm still discovering these years later. So.
But Mike Myers does not do that. He can't. That's never really been his like shtick, you know? And so it was really weird to watch him do that. Like, what's happening? Why are you doing that? It's like watching Mike Myers do an impersonation of Jim Carrey. It's basically that movie.
And I would rather watch Jim Carrey all day long than Mike Myers. Any of the, I don't know. What do you guys feel? Jim Carrey or Mike Myers? Neither or both? I don't know.
I mean, neither really. Like, I don't know. I've discussed before, comedy is a very hard thing for me to enjoy, right? So, like, they have a different style, obviously. Like, of course, like when I think Mike Myers, all I think about is like Wayne's World, right? That tells you how old I am, which is just kind of like a gag over and over again, which I don't really like Wayne's World all that much, but that's what I think of when I think of Mike Myers. Right, that and Austin Powers, obviously, but I also don't really like Austin Powers because it's just a gag over and over again. So I don't really like that. And Jim Carrey's, like, I don't know. I guess I generally enjoy his movies more, but he's very manic, right? And like can be so over the top and crazy. Like, I don't think that's funny either. So, like, I don't. I mean, like the physical comedy aspect of it, I guess that's good. He's much more animated and entertaining. Like his body motions are funny. And whenever Mike Myers does body motions in like Austin Powers, they're just like cringy. You get that like uncomfortable feeling, like you don't like to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like, but again, we've discussed my taste in comedy is like very dry. Like, it's very much informed by, like we said, British comedy and, like, sort of that 80s kind of, like, Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, just, like, really witty, sarcastic, bad comebacks. Like, that's...
No, real fast. Like, I mean, the Chevy Chase movies, you go back and watch those, like, they're so rewatchable because you catch new gags all the time, or some of the stuff
some of the stuff he says is hilarious.
Yeah, excuse me.
He just like spits out these little comments, and if you're not paying, they're like the little side comments are hysterical. Right, like John Candy does that too. Right, he just like says stuff. Like Uncle Buck is just hilarious because he just like says things like stone faced, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever. He's like, what? I can't. What? So Steve Martin did that. That's a very like that's the comedy that I find humorous is like really witty, snappy comebacks, like bantery stuff. I like that. So yeah, those guys, those are my big comedian people, like Steve Martin. Like one of my favorite comedy movies is actually like My Blue Heaven. It's not really that funny, but like he's playing a Italian gangster. And just like his response, it's first of all, it's Steve Martin and Rick Moranis. So like, come on. Yeah, no. And like, the way that they talk to each other, like the things that they're saying and their responses to each other is hysterical. Like I just love how like flat it is. And just like, he's saying these things are completely outlandish, like very matter of factly. And that makes me, I like that delivery model more. So, which is why I'm sort of off put by like the Jim Carreys of the world, who's like screaming at your face. Which is also why I don't like Will Ferrell, because he's like just screaming at you.
He was my
the whole time.
See what happened.
He's just like shouting at you, and I'm not really into that.
Yeah. No, 100% agree on literally all of that. I think one of the lines that sticks in my head is in the movie Fletch, where he's like, excuse me, can I borrow that towel? My car hit a water buffalo.
I love that part.
Like, just like super serious, like deadpan stuff. But it is totally and utterly absurd. But with the way it's delivered by them, there's just, you don't see that, right? It's totally,
it's like so fast, like blam.
Exactly. Yeah. You can watch it multiple times because you're like, wow, they said that and he said this and that's why he said that, and like it kind of comes together a lot better for me. I do enjoy that a lot. With that said, if I had to choose between Jim Carrey, Mike Myers, or Will Ferrell, I would watch Jim Carrey because of the physical comedy of it in most cases, and it's just like he is on in everything that he does. Like there's no
there's no like halfway Jim Carrey. That doesn't exist, you know. even though you end up watching like Ace Ventura, and you're just kind of like, what am I watching right now? I don't understand. Like, like I knew I didn't get Jim Carrey because like Dumb and Dumber came out, I think when I was in like middle school, maybe. And I was like not into that. And I was like exactly the demographic for that movie. And I was just like, no, this is dumb. I don't like it. So this is a very maybe it was a little earlier than that. It was early, it was 94. So I would have been elementary school still, but like all my friends were watching it in the next couple of years. It was like really big, right? So yeah, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, like that's like, that's the kind of age that would really think that movie's hilarious. And I was like, no. I'm good. Like I don't.
One of the movies that did slightly change me on Will Ferrell was the his Stranger Than Fiction movie.
I didn't watch that one.
Where he is a guy he's talking to a shrink, and he's like, I hear these voices and things happen to my life and I don't realize what's going on. And it turns out that his life is being written by an author who is Emma Stone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I actually really do like this one because it wasn't him like as Elf.
Yeah. I mean, Elf gets a slight pass just because it's a Christmas movie. Sure. Right. And so you can like, it's okay. It's fine. Like, I'll pass that one. But like,
it was kind of, it was a little, it had a different taste to it because also like,
yeah,
around the time that he was doing like, the Ricky Bobby and
that
one,
movie's
you
no
can
good.
tell like there's just a little bit like he pulls it in just a little bit more, and you're like, okay, like this is tolerable.
Yeah, those movies where he just like go full on, it's like, oh no, that's too much. I can't. No.
Yeah.
Aaron, what are your thoughts on comedians in movies? Favorites, ones you can't stand to watch? Are you an actual Will Ferrell enthusiast? Like,
he is.
I love going on like Netflix and watching like comic stand-ups, like their specials. For a long time, I was really into things like Kevin Hart, but kind of over time, it's kind of the same thing you said about like Will Ferrell, like just very like loud and like in your face. My sense of humor is pretty drastic. As I can go from like one extreme to a guy, or like one end of the spectrum that's very kind of like calm pace, that's more kind of like, quips and like storytelling with like a John Mulaney, or I can go to like the full opposite end of the spectrum and talk about like weird things like with Bert Kreischer, or or like in between things of like. Granted, I'm also the same sibling that thought the Redneck Comedy Tour was absolutely hilarious, but I want to watch it now, and I'm like, eh. So, like I do like Will Ferrell. I like the movie Collin was talking about because I actually watched that, and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. Jim Carrey, just because of that. I mean, physical comedy is always going to be like one of like the purest forms of comedy, because even like in the silent film days, like that's what people reacted to.
Yeah.
Aspect of it. So Jim Carrey's always going to be, one of my favorites. Plus, he's just like the charismatic individual. Bill Murray is also one of my other favorites, just because it's always like, hey man, and that's like no matter what movie he's in, he's the same person, but he always makes the movie funny.
Yeah.
I literally watched parts, and I showed parts of Canadian Bacon to my class when we talked about Canada in geography.
Is that allowed? I don't know if that's allowed.
It is. I mean, there's not any bad parts. We watched
I'm just kidding.
The part where
I do really like that movie.
Over, and the Canadian the police officer made him write all the graffiti in French.
Oh yes.
The kids thought that was hilarious because we talked about the languages in Quebec and everything, so they thought it was hilarious. So like, even though that's a different part of my life, I mean, that's like I grew up after those guys, like watching Chris Farley, like even like watching him, like even like the little like Saturday Night Live stuff. I thought he was like the funniest human being. And again, with the physical stuff, but him just being loud.
That's true. He's a bit shouty, but yes.
Really like Adam Sandler, but he even has a comedy special on Netflix, and it's absolutely hilarious. But sometimes Will Ferrell does get a little bit like, okay, all right, Kevin Hart, same kind of thing. It's like, all right, okay, all right, that was kind of funny once, but I also like crude humor with Jimmy Carr. He's also really funny because it's just like bam, 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 bam. So like there's story to it, but it's like it's engaging, and then it's just like just quick things, boom, boom, boom. So he's really funny. My spectrum of comedy is really wide and broad. I could just sit back and just watch comedy specials all day. But as far as like those guys, like sometimes like, oh yeah, man, like it's like you have to watch the movie because it's a classic, so like The Grinch or something. But over time, it's like, okay, I mean, don't remake the movie, but
okay, yeah. Also, I'm going to stop watching it now. That's okay.
So yeah, so kind of one of those things. Like we even put The Grinch on for Christmas before we went on Christmas break, and I was like, no. I kind of picked the wrong movie for this, but
no, the answer is Home Alone. Yeah. That's the answer for school movies.
Someone else had Home Alone, so we couldn't watch that.
Ah, dang.
Oh yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the whole comedy thing.
That's interesting. It sounds like you're the much more well-rounded one than all of us. Nice job. Way to win the comedy thing, Aaron. Good job.
Yeah.
A very cultured man indeed. Sorry. No, that's good. What are you talking
about? Yeah. Brandon and I over here going like, yeah, all the SNL cast members from the 70s, that's basically where we stopped.
Dadgummit. You guys just said his name earlier. He played in the movie The Jerk.
Yeah, Steve Martin.
Yeah, Steve Martin. So Steve Martin and Martin Short actually have a comedy special on Netflix, and it's just them doing them things. And the first time I watched it, my stomach was hurting from laughing. Like it is just like it's typical of them, but it's over the top, and like it's just them going back and forth, and so it's like really funny because they talk about like stories of them like when they're beginning out, and then just like them over the years, and it's a really good one.
And they just came out with a new movie, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a show or something. I saw a commercial for that
on Hulu. What's it called? Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah, there's a lady too.
What is
who's the lady?
I don't know who's in that one.
I don't remember.
But Selena Gomez.
Is it Selena Gomez? I thought it was a different person, but okay. Anyway. I thought it was someone else, but all right.
I don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah, I know. I mean, she's in there.
I
don't know who else there. But apparently, it's been.
Yeah, I heard that because that's very new. I heard it was pretty good, but I don't watch that obviously because I don't have Hulu. But, Steve Martin is very underrated. I think in this day and age, I think he definitely. It's not like historically true, but I think nowadays he gets overlooked a lot just because he is older. You know what I mean? But he's pretty good, and he's just a good actor in general, right? He's got some range, right? Do you have to watch The Spanish Prisoner in school? Do you have to watch that?
Did not.
Yo, we had to watch that in Mr. Himes class. Was Mr. Himes still teaching when you were there?
He was. He left the year after we were there. That's why I put my pencil behind my ear.
There we go. Yeah, he was like a movie. He like wrote stuff about movies, so he would always make us like he would do like these weird things in class where we had to watch that. Spanish Prisoners is like weird thriller movie where Steve Martin is in it, is like the antagonist or whatever.
Huh.
And it's like it's definitely not funny at all. But like, I mean, it's not like bad. It's just like it's very interesting, right? It's a very strange movie about like deception, and they're like tricking this guy and doing all this stuff, and like he's like a con man almost, kind of, if I remember correctly, something like that. But yeah, it's crazy. and he does that. And he's also in that. What's that other movie that's like really bizarre with Steve Martin?
You know that he can still play a mean banjo.
Does play a mean banjo. That is true.
When the pandemic first started, there was a video clip of him on Twitter that he posted.
Yeah.
And it's just him just picking at the banjo. And I'm like, hey, this guy still gets it. So
that's a really.
Not just is he good at it, but he's like top 5 in the world.
No, yeah, he's like he's like teaches banjoing. Like I don't know, like he's gonna.
No, he does. Yeah, he's like one of the masters, like truly at that.
Yes.
At that, which is just hilarious. I just again one of those things of like, of course, sure, do it.
Oh, the other Steve Martin movie that I couldn't think of is Novocaine, the like weird murder thriller thing where he's like a dentist, which is kind of funny because he was a dentist in Little Shop of Horrors. But anyway, that's
Huh. Well, no, it's all tied. It's all tied together.
Yes, definitely. So there you go. I remembered.
Okay.
Kablam. Now I kind of want to watch Spanish Prisoner again. I wonder if I can find
Very intrigued. Got a follow-up question, but it's just completely left. Oh, never mind.
Okay, well, that's fine. We'll allow it. For now. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun. Oh, dun dun. Law and Order is back on.
I love Law and Order.
What?
Well, actually, I love Law and Order SVU, but normal Law and Order is
really?
good too.
Oh, really? No, like the just like the straight up like.
Yeah, I know. I saw. They're all back
on. I was like,
yeah.
Well, because that was that one was my favorite. SVU got to I didn't like all those stories because I didn't like thinking about them or like.
Fair enough. I love Mariska Hargitay, so like that's just whatever.
But I just was like, these don't make me happy.
I mean, yeah, most police procedural shows aren't like just sunshine and flowers. But
well, yeah, but most of the ones that are on like the normal one are like
true.
Ooh, a guy swindled money from the bank.
Okay, fair.
Rough, right? Like that.
Fair enough.
So,
yeah, I just like the characters in the SVU, like all the different detectives and stuff, all the people. So I like that one, and that's the one that like the reruns are on all the time. So like,
I don't know, like somebody.
If you want to do that, you can do that. Actually, interestingly, I read that she is now officially Mariska. Obviously, she is now like officially like the longest running female character in television history.
Really?
Yeah. That show's been on since 1999.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That long?
Yeah. So I think she is now the longest running female character ever. And like the second longest running character of all time.
Yeah.
Like the first longest one is like some random dude that was on like a British soap opera for like 50 years or something. So like, whatever. But she is like one of the longest. And one of the other longest running characters is actually Ice-T's character on the same show. So that's like... He's also like top 5. So that's
how about that?
Yeah.
Well,
and he like came in like season 2 or something. So he's
I mean, when you have a show that just runs and runs and runs, right? Like why of course you're gonna be like that. Right? So
I thought that was crazy. I was like, whoa, really? Wasn't expecting that. Like a random.
Yeah, longer than like because if I had to pick a character from the Law and Order franchise, I would have put like Jack McCoy or something because like
but like you said, the normal Law and Order like went away for a while and it wasn't like continuous, whereas it was on first, but then like, and he also wasn't in like every episode or whatever. Whereas, like, I don't know if she's not in all of them, I guess, but she's been on every season. Because there's some episodes where it's like, oh, this is the, episode about this person. And, like, because they do that every once in a while, like, this week we're featuring this guy. And, like, it's just all them doing something. So, like, whatever. But, yes. Longest running. And also Jack McCoy, he's interesting, too, because he's on, like, all the Law and Order shows. He just, like, shows up randomly. Like, hey, here I am. Bam.
Like, talking to the DA.
He's on SVU sometimes. Boom. He's, like, yelling at one of the DAs, right? Usually. On the early seasons, he was. Like, Alex or whatever. Like, blah, 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 blah. Yelling district attorney things. I don't know.
Yeah, and such.
Yes.
And I need to watch. I need to get the order pick. Add my to-do list.
Yeah, the early episodes are pretty good. I haven't. Like, what was that? What, Briscoe, that guy?
Uh-huh.
And his partner guy, who I don't remember his name.
Well, it was replaced with pretty early on. Was that the guy that
he was the older guy.
He was the older guy, and the other guy sang in the musical another movie. Anyway, this is exciting.
That's right. This is how my brain works as well. Like, I'm always like, yeah, he was the guy that was in the other thing. Like, the guy that's on New and Law and Order, I don't remember his actual name, but he played Michael Weston in that show Bird Notice. That was actually pretty awesome. I liked that show a lot when it was on USA. He was like a spy. He was like a CIA, ex-CIA guy or whatever.
Yeah. Ed Green, I don't know who plays him, but Lenny Briscoe and because he was Jerry Orbach, and man, sorry,
it's hard to look up characters from that show too because there's like 7,000, and so you have to like, because they also list every person who's ever been on the show ever, and they're like guest star crazy. So like,
sorry, no, Ed Green was the guy's name. He's played by Jesse Martin. Okay, that's
yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
yes, okay, cool.
Ed sounded familiar to me, so like,
yes. Okay, Ed and Lenny and Ed.
Yeah,
because Joe Fontana. Anyway, whatever. Okay, there's so many, and it's hard to keep track which one exactly they're on. But
yes, and I think I'm trying to remember. There was other spinoffs too, other than SVU, but like they like a lot of them didn't last very long.
No,
because they don't have Mariska Hargitay, so like obviously they're not going to be very, very good. But I guess. But it's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, I don't ever watch the total marathons they have on Sundays all the time. That's fine.
Why would anybody even suggest that? What a preposterous idea.
And at this point, like, I've seen so many of them, it's like the show comes on and like, I kind of remember this one.
Oh no.
And then like, this is familiar. And then, because a lot of them, I mean, obviously it's a procedural show. So like, there are similarities, And so, so I'm watching it and going, okay. And then usually about like 15 minutes from the end, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I remember this one. I got it now. I'm good to go. Like, I know.
that.
It's fine. It's okay. Everything's fine. It's been on that long. It's been like over 20 years. I've actually been watching this show. So like,
yeah, at some point you may even forget what happened. So
that's true. And there's a bunch that I missed, right? Because I used to watch like the early ones like a lot because that's my favorite cast, right? The early ones with all those people. And then there's a whole bunch that are like just a couple years old that I have never seen ever, right? And so like every time those come on, I'm like, wow, all right, I guess I'll definitely watch this because I have no idea. I definitely have not seen this one. So there's a large episode count to choose from. So you can...
Oh, yeah. And what I kind of like about it is while there are those little story arcs, like you said, of every now and then there'll be something that focuses on one particular character and kind of where they fit, all this stuff. Like, by and large, you can just kind of hop in and out and not really.
Yeah,
You
don't. It's it doesn't need a sequence, right?
Yes, which is really nice, especially because there are a bagajillion of them, and you can just go, "Oh, this is on, sweet." It makes it really enjoyable.
Yeah,
and you don't have to stress about it. Like that's one thing that I get pretty worried about. I think we've talked about this before, of like, especially in the world of anime, where it's like, One Piece has also
like 1,000 episodes,
stuff, and you kind of have to watch them in order to get the most out of it for it to make the most sense to you.
Yeah,
like, which is not like, it's hard. This way you just kind of pop in and out and you're like, okay, like I like this style, I like the formulaic nature of this, and the characters are cool. Great. I know I'm going to get each time this is on.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a plus for like television shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you can just watch one and you're like, oh, that was good, but you don't need to watch the other one. Because like there's we've talked about that too, like the difference between like a series and like like that's different, where it's like every episode is sequential, and it has to go in order. Whereas something like Law and Order or like House, you can just watch an episode of House and be like, oh, that was cool. All right, anyway,
sure.
Like
yeah.
Or like some sitcoms are like that too, right? You don't really need to watch, like, if you wanted to watch one episode of like Family Matters, that's fine. You don't really need just tons and tons of context about what's happening. You can just watch it and it's okay, like or like if you were wanting to, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a more recent one because I don't watch these kind of shows, but like The Big Bang Theory, right? You can just like watch a episode.
Sure.
Done. Okay. I don't really need a whole, it's very self-contained, right? Like Seinfeld was like that. You could watch one episode of Seinfeld and then not, like. So that's a show that I think for me, I was definitely the wrong age to watch that, because like everyone's like, oh man, Seinfeld's great. And I'm like, I guess it's fine. I don't
know. That's the same way with like me and Friends. Like I could never get into Friends, but I could put on like Scrubs in the background and just like listen to that all day. I don't know why, but like when people are like, oh, let's watch Friends, I'm like, what else? I just never was like that appealing to me. And like, especially with those hit shows that are like, oh, look at, The Walking Dead, which I do get into, but then like after the third season, I'm just like, for zombies. Or like Breaking Bad. Like I never got into the hype of those because like TV just kind of changed for me for a certain point, because I was like always, coming home and like, oh man, I get to watch Law and Order, or oh, I get to watch, this. And then like as I got older, like the more I watched it, like, but like even like with Law and Order, like I know what's going to happen, like because like you've seen like 1,000 of the same reruns, but it still just has like the same like.
Well, the pacing is very similar. Do
they have the person? Wait, it's the other person. Oh my gosh! So like that's always the one that even if a single episode is on, although on the channel USA they literally have Law and Order marathons like all week long.
Yeah, no, every Sunday for sure. I mean,
no matter what, you could just sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I think that's I think you hit on something important there, actually. Like the fact that it is like supposed to be like a mystery, kind of like I find myself like you're sort of more actively engaged in watching it because you are also trying to like figure out things too.
Yeah.
Whereas like other shows, just like, aha, okay.
Yeah.
Well, like Friends, like you watch Friends, like when you watch Friends, you're not really trying to figure anything out. You're just trying to like stare at it, I guess. Whereas like the TV shows I tend to like are like shows where there is some element where you have to be kind of paying attention at least a little bit to kind of like try to figure it out too. You know what I mean? That's an appealing nature.
I will say the one TV show that's ever made me like truly tear up because I was like that emotionally invested in it was Doctor Who. Yeah, like there's something about like there's been a few episodes where like the doctor is like changing forms or like he's regenerating, and it's just like an emotional scene, and you're just like, what? I don't know why. Like it's not anything like over the top like Hollywood performance, but there's been a few times where I've watched it and like just like something was said and I've just been like that glued to the screen. And even like if I just watch like a YouTube clip of it, like of just that scene, I'm like, feels suppressed feelings. And like everything else is like, oh, that's quirky, or like, oh yeah, look at the robot. But then like there's just like sometimes where like just an episode just like hits you and you're like, why is my face wet? And like why does my heart hurt so much? And sometimes it was those Doctor Who episodes. I'm like, where did this come from? Why? What are you doing to me? So it's weird, I know, but like if you've been invested in it as much as I have with some of those episodes,
that's true.
It's just like,
and that does come from like actually just sitting and watching lots of them, and that's definitely a show that has to be in order. I think could be more useful. That's
like, with the specials they are, but like some of the episodes aren't like linear. They don't like they're not attached. But like as you get like closer to like the end of the season, then they are.
Yeah,
those are the ones that they always run together.
And well, I think too the other thing that's interesting about that one British television in general is like they do like the series, which is like this season all goes together, and then like next season kind of goes together, but not necessarily goes with it. You know what I mean? Like it's more like a self-contained, like this is all self-contained episodes. Blam. Yeah. I mean, that's my experience. I haven't watched like a whole bunch, and I've definitely not really. Full disclosure, not really a big Doctor Who fan. I've seen a couple episodes and just kind of been like, okay, that was fine, I guess. I don't know. I can't really get into it. Like, but at least they are like this season or whatever. And like, especially because they change doctors all the time. It's like all the ones with this doctor sort of go together. And then all the ones with this other doctor sort of go together. But they don't, you know what I mean? Like, you don't. There's not enough crossover where you're like, you're missing something like really big. Like, I'm sure there's like little details that a big fan would understand, but they're not necessary to appreciate what's happening, which is good. It makes it more digestible.
In a lot of those episodes where there are crossovers, so one of the original Doctors who plays Ollivander in Harry Potter, I think his name. So he's one of the original Doctors, and sometimes he comes back, or some like the previous Doctors come back, and like even like it's mostly like in like specials. Like for some reason the Christmas specials just hit differently, but every time there's like a season ender or something, there's always that like little like, okay, this is, it's emotional, and then it's just like, oh boom, here's someone back from the past that like if you're not a diehard fan, you don't know who that is. And that was me when I first watched it, because I'm like, all right, everyone on Twitter is freaking out. Why? Who is that? And then you go and search, and then you watch it again. It's like, oh, that's like the seventh Doctor or whoever. And it's like, oh, he came back for it's crazy. And then like they'll do like other things where and since it is time travel and time is wibbly wobbly, they'll sometimes have characters from a different season that's not the Doctor be involved with this Doctor from like a few seasons later. So like the person that the Doctor marries has been like an overall character throughout most of the series, and then like some of the companions have been too. And so although yes, the Doctor does change, like there's still the stuff that follows with him, and that's the weird thing about the time travel, is that it's all like intertwined somehow. And so sometimes they'll bring back someone from a different series into a new series for like a little bit and be like a main character in some way, shape, or form. And then with time travel, they go back. And so, but you're just like, who's this random person? But you're like, oh, that's the person from season 7. Oh my gosh. So, and that's what kind of sold me for a long time. Like I was super heavy invested into it. And then I'm like, I haven't seen an episode in like years. I feel bad. I don't, because I've like emotionally prepared myself to watch an episode now. I don't want that. I don't need that baggage.
That's fair. But again, that structure does sort of just lend itself to like, you can still just like jump in kind of anywhere and watch it. And then you end up like you, where you're like, oh, I don't really get it, but like you're also not. You still can understand the premise of what's happening without like fully getting it. You know what I mean? Like you're not like you're only missing out on like a little piece, not like a huge like I literally have no idea what's going on right now. Which is how it is with some shows. If you just like, I'm going to watch the show now. Like, what is I don't know anything was happening.
Yeah. Well, I think some of those two kind of like, again, just they can be intimidating to dive into. And I know that some of those also have a culture of like the like you're doing it wrong, kind of like you're not.
Oh, well, yeah, but
of course, I say this as I started off this episode by talking about how I'm having my children watch Chronological.
Yeah,
Disney
so they don't do it wrong.
We don't really have a whole lot to see on here. But
my kids can only watch Snow White, so they don't get spoiled by fancy animation.
Maybe Sleeping Beauty, maybe. But yeah, like I there are times where I watch those, and I worry that I'm missing broader context, like you said, Aaron, of like, oh, this scene is super impactful because this is an earlier Doctor, because this tie-in or whatever, and I'm just watching it over here like a schmuck, going, cool, that happened. And so I do kind of worry some of those that have such a long history that I'm missing out on more context.
I think that goes to how well they're written, right? Because like, if they're written well enough, then it, kind of doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like if you've seen all the rest of them, it's like a bonus.
Sure.
Where it's still like, if it's written well and it's done everything well, then it's like, it's still good. And it's not like lesser, really. And it's just like, if you get it, then it's like a bonus. It's extra. You know what I mean? But I can see how, sometimes if you're like a diehard fan, you'd be like, why are you taking time to explain that? Like, literally everyone already knows that. Types angrily at keyboard, right? Like,
angry keyboard.
So like, whatever. But yeah, I think generally things like that are, if they're written well enough, that you kind of like, it's fine. And then you can sort of discover it as you go. And that's kind of how you kind of have to do that in a way, because that's how fandom works. You know what I mean? You like go, oh, I wonder what that is. And you start like digging a little bit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're in like a giant chasm and you can't get out and you're just stuck forever. You're just like
binge watching everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how you kind of become a fan. You kind of have to put in a little bit of work too. You kind of have to dig around and be like, oh yeah, why is this important? And like, oh, that's really cool. And then you kind of get interested, and you might watch some older stuff a little bit, and then kind of like learn about things and kind of make those connections, and then you get invested, and that's how you get stuck. So I think that's that's good too, right? You can work for it a little bit. It doesn't have to just necessarily like plop itself down in front of you. So if it's, again, that's a testament to how well stuff like that's written. Like Doctor Who, like, even though it's not for me, like tons of people really like it because of how good it is, like how well they write it and how well they tell the stories and how they approach that thing. Like, people will watch an episode and then they'll be like curious about it, and then they'll want to watch more, and then they'll watch older ones, and then they'll like read stuff about it online or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're going to Halloween parties dressed as the Doctor. So like, it's just how it works.
Well, I think, yeah, part of that too is when the writers recognize like who they're writing to, who they're producing the show for. And because if you only ever made something for the super fans, it would be
so inaccessible that it'd be
exactly
not watchable.
and totally opaque to anybody from the outside, going like, I something is happening here, but I have no idea. So you're right. Like, yeah, good writers are able to walk that line between, sure, giving fan service, but without being like so on the
exclusionary,
nose, exclusionary too. Like, you can swing either way. Like, some of the Star Wars stuff has been like, see, look what we did. We did the thing.
I was just thinking about Star Wars. You said that,
right? They're like, isn't it awesome? Right. Yeah. You guys are really cool. And that, yep, we did it. Okay. Now we can, pay us our money. Versus
That's because Star Wars fans are the shoutiest, angriest people on the planet, right? They just like they are. Let's be real. Like literally nothing is good enough for them. Right? If you go by like online stuff, like literally nothing is good. And again, part of that is because you became a fan as a child and you have developed your identity from a very young, vulnerable age around this thing. And whenever somebody challenges that thing, you like it affects you deeply. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, whereas other people who are just sort of like casual fans are gonna be like, oh, that's sweet. I'm gonna be into that. The people that are like, you know, read every novel and like bought those dictionary things when they were little and like did all that stuff. They're going to be just like hyper offended because like it's wrong because they've developed in their mind the version that's correct. And it's not like it's the most correct to them only. And then so like they're quote unquote ruining it whenever you see it. That's what you read all the time. I was reading about the like Wheel of Time stuff, you know, and there's a lot of people online. They're like, you ruined everything. Like, and whereas like most people are like, no, that's pretty cool. I liked it. The people that are like obsessive over it are just like so angry because you ruined my life. Right. Like the current shenanigans with this stupid Lord of the Rings show that's on Amazon. Oh my God, that dwarf lady doesn't have a beard. You guys are awful. Tolkien will just want to stab you in the face. Like, guys.
Well, and many of them are actually feeling betrayed by the Tolkien estate because they're involved, right? And they have oversight of this. And I saw many comments, people be like, obviously they're just in this for the money now. They don't care about respecting his story and sticking true to this, blah, 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 blah. Like,
hey, guys, hey, I got a question for you. Aragorn didn't have a beard either. Yeah. Do you now hate Viggo Mortensen? No, because he's awesome. Okay, stop it. Like,
well, again, it's also kind of being like, hey, quick question. Is any of this real? No? Okay. We're moving on and moving on, right? Like next. Like it's just like sure.
Yeah.
You can have opinions, but at the same time, it's like you have to take a step back and go like, none of this is real.
Yeah, also, you know, Aragorn, he was probably just joking. Right, to Gimli. That's also in the realm of possibility, right? It's not like it's fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
No, this is exactly.
But yes, Aule the Smith crafted dwarven women from the clay with full beards. Actually, it never says anything about the dwarven women in that origin story. Just the 7 dwarves that conquered and that went off into each dwarven family. So calm down. It's fine. It's okay. Deep breath. And again, it's sort of detrimental in a way because like on the one hand, you know, in my opinion, even if it's something you disagree with, it's now like my thought is like where I sit on this, like this specifically, we'll talk about the Tolkien stuff. Like, oh no, bringing a thing to like a whole brand new audience and new people that will discover something that I think is cool and I like. Oh no, how terrible. More Tolkien stuff available widely to everyone. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Like, guys, it's not bad. This is good news. What do you want? Like,
again, this circles back around to a topic that we've had on before is gatekeepers to talk.
That's
right?
That's
exactly
true.
What this is, because you're right. It does. It's like the people who yell and scream about the prequels. Again, I'm gonna circle back to Star Wars because this is obviously, you know,
that's fine.
But like if you enjoy that, there are segments of Star Wars fandom who will say like basically you're not enjoying it right. That's not correct. You actually need to actively hate those. And for the majority of people, it's like, well, no, but that's those were my first exposures to them. I have a lot of memories on them. Like and you're telling me I don't like them? Like okay, like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, how somebody who's like, these make me excited about Star Wars, and then I have people with neckbeards yelling at me about liking Star Wars incorrectly. It's like,
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
I guess I'll just
Also, listen,
No.
guys, I was there. Okay, I remember when the Phantom Menace came out. Okay, I was there. I went and saw it in the theaters too. Literally no one was mad when it came out.
Nobody was angry.
Nobody.
There was more Star Wars.
Yeah.
There were
It
just
was
as many-
only like 10 years later that people started like bemoaning it and being like, it's not as good. It's
No,
not.
No, there were
like,
just as. I mean, all the people.
there were
dressed
some
up-
people like Jar Jar's a bit much. That's
Yeah,
a little bit weird.
fair. That was
But
fair.
like, yeah. But,
But like the people in the costumes and the garb in the first in line were all the people who grew up on the originals, right? They were the ones who were scrambling, and now they're the ones turning around and like, actually, no, I didn't. It's kind of like the people who claim to have been like punk rock all along, and you're like, no. When punk rock was actually popular, there were 7 people in the entire United States who were
that's
truly
true.
punk rock.
No one liked it.
And no one liked it, and now everyone's trying to like, whitewash their past or like put black fingernail paint on their past. I don't know, and be like,
No, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, hey, all you people, you know who I didn't see at those punk rock shows? You. Yeah.
You. Yeah, exactly.
Get out.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, like, and you know, there's a lot of good that did come from the Star Wars prequels. You know, even if you don't really like the story, even if you think some of the directing choices are not the best now, looking back, that's fine. I would agree with you on some of that. But like, can we really argue that the end of Phantom Menace is bad?
Oh yeah, I know,
Bro.
Right.
Come on. Hitting you with the Duel of the Fates, the triple lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Darth Maul. Come on. Are you going to tell me that's bad? Look me in the eye and tell me that's bad. You can't. That's right. Okay. Thank you. That's what.
Yes.
But again, like, it makes it more accessible to more people. Maybe back in, you know, more media would get created about Star Wars. They'd write more books. There'd be more comic books. And like, as a fan, this is what you want, right? Like, even though I didn't really love all the newest trilogy, right? It was fine. But like, I don't care because there's still more Star Wars.
Yeah.
And if that is your favorite movie, that's okay, because we can both count a Star Wars movie as among our favorite movies ever.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be the same Star Wars movie. That's fine. Like, the coolest thing about Star Wars is like the universe is literally gigantic and is full of like so many like crazy weird things that like everybody's going to latch onto something interesting and different anyway. You know, and there's room in the Star Wars universe for that. You don't have to like only like this one thing. You can like lots of other stuff. It's okay. It's fine. You can like Rogue One. That's all right. If you like Rogue One, you're listening to this, that's okay. That's good. Don't let people on the internet tell you you're wrong, because you're not.
Oh, exactly. You're not wrong for enjoying things you enjoy.
Yeah. Come on.
Now I'm going to go watch Phantom Menace fight scene.
Yeah, you will.
For the rest
Man.
Of the night. Thank you very much.
Boom.
Okay. Well,
I remember I was in that movie theater when that other lightsaber side came out and that like music dropped. Everyone was like, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you that was real. Like, I remember that.
it's so good.
It is so good. Oh my god, it's the best movie song ever.
It's playing right now. I gotta pause it because I'm gonna get distracted. But started auto playing. No, it's so good.
Oh man.
Okay. Well, looks like we have. We'll just do that the rest of the evening and leave you and do this again soon, I guess.
All right.
Okay. Well, we're working on a challenge for next time.
We'll see if we can actually get our act together and figure out what it should be.
Trying on the challenge.
Trying, you know, it's hard.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly the exact takeaway we want to have for it.
That's true.
So make sure it brings the most value.
Yes.
That's what we're... Okay. Well, Hopefully no more snow. The rest, I think on Monday we're supposed to get more snow. So.
Oh my god. Hopefully it'll just be a little teeny bit of snow. So it'll be good.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.